Hi, my name is Dave McCreary from Ultras Training. I'm going to go through the business case theme, the PRINCE2 business case theme. I think it's a really important theme, not only for PRINCE2, but for any project manager. It's a technique, it's a mechanism, I suppose, that you can use to run within your project to give you some better results. Okay, so what's the business case all about? Well, the purpose of the business case is to allow you to weigh up the costs of doing the project against the benefits, taking into account the risks. And constantly throughout your project, you should be weighing up within your decision-making process, what are the costs of making this decision and how does it affect the benefits? And again, taking into account the risks. So that's a weighing that should be going all the way along. And if you think about it, that's a really useful technique to help you with decision making. Whose decision making? Well, more senior, maybe the sponsor's decision making. If you can go to them and talk to them about how you're weighing the costs against the benefits, how they can see that. If there's arguments going on between stakeholders, you can use the business case to show them the costs, benefits. Okay? But before we go in, we need to find a little bit about what benefits are. Okay, we need to think about them. So what are benefits? Well, the project creates outputs, and most project managers concentrate on creating those outputs, creating the products that the project is supposed to do. But those products are supposed to create some business changes. They're supposed to create some changes within the organization. And from those changes, we should have measurable benefits. And it's really key that we see them as measurable benefits. Also remember that when you do have business changes, you might have side effects, consequences that are negative. So we could have people let go, we could have departments change, we could have slow down in the process. And we have to look at those benefits and see what the negativity of that are. So taking the benefits and the disbenefits together, they should really feed into something more strategic. That may be outside your project, but that's the whole idea. So our outputs should deliver certain outcomes, which would be business changes, and they should deliver some benefits. Okay, so as I said, the definition there, outputs are something like a new product, updated systems, a new way of doing things. The outcomes would be the actual new way of working. So the guys in the marketing have a new system to use, they're going to change it. But the benefits would be the increased sales, the better process that's out there. So there are three layers, and concentrating purely on the outputs and not looking at the lower levels, which is outcomes, which generally project managers do help with that. There might be some business change in there. But really key is not to forget the benefits, because that's what the business really wants. And that's what we need if we want to really create projects that actually deliver. Okay, so PRINCE2 has two things, I suppose, to manage within this theme, which is the business case itself, which is a document. It's described in the manual on page 237, and a benefits review plan. So the business case has benefits in it, and there should be a plan for reviewing those benefits, how often and when we're going to review them. And we'll talk through that. That's on page 235 of the manual. Okay, so what's within a business case? Well, the key thing is the business case for PRINCE2 must have three areas. It must show that the project is desirable. Okay, it must show that it's achievable. We can actually get there to that project, and it's viable, that we can actually deliver the products. And the different roles within PRINCE2 have responsibilities, or key responsibilities for the different areas. So the executive is very much so responsible throughout the project to make sure that this project is desirable. It's that we got a good cost benefit, that the business will benefit from this, the benefits of the project, the outputs of the project. The senior user is there to make sure that, yeah, by implementing the outcomes, we can do it. The new sales process, he's a senior user. We can take the outputs and turn them into outcomes. We can achieve the project. And the senior supplier is viability. And that's really saying, can we deliver the products? Can we get the products out there? Can we do it at a cost-effective level? So the senior people within the project board or sponsoring committee, if you're not PRINCE2, those roles are in there, and they have specific requirements or specific accountabilities around the actual business case. The project manager has responsibility for preparing the business case. And by doing that, they're going to have to talk with the executive, the senior users, senior suppliers, and other people in the organization to create a business case that can stand up. They'll need to update on that. And as they go through the project manager should go and retest the business case, find the people that can test it and make sure it's still viable, and report back up to the project board as we go along. A benefits review plan, very simple. It just benchmarks and measures the benefits. So all our benefits should be measurable. They should be real numbers. We are going to increase our sales by 6.5%. We are going to turn around the ambulances at the hospital door at the end of this project from 15 minutes to 13 minutes. They are real measurable. We can see them before we've implemented the project. We can measure them and look to them as we're doing the project. And we can also, at the end of the project, see have we achieved them or will we achieve them in the future at some stage. Okay, so it's produced in the initiation stage by the project manager. And again, because this is a kind of you're dealing with the senior level, much of the information is coming from the project board and you're just putting it in as the project manager into the benefits. So we look at the business case. It has a journey through the project from starting up all the way through to closing. And in starting up, we'll start to work with the executive to create an outline business case. You won't be able to fill it out completely, you won't have all the information, but we should have an outline business case that the executive and the project manager at least will put together, and it'll be put to the board at the directing a project at the end of starting up. It's not completed, but it's got a straw there. So that's part of the development. And that development then goes on through the initiation stage where we flesh that out. We actually create a proper detailed business case. Hopefully the senior users can give us some more information and flesh that out. Okay, and at the end of that, we verify that business case. We look at it and we make sure that it does stand up. And as we go through the project, it is regularly verified again at the end of each stage within the project. So that's part of the maintenance of the actual business case. When we deliver components, we confirm the benefits. We make sure that if there were benefits due to come out of that stage, that we can see them, we can test them. You won't always get benefits at the end of any particular stage, but we should still review to make sure we still think we're going to get the benefits. The outputs that you've created have delivered hopefully some outcomes, and those outcomes should at least put together some capability to bring out some benefits. So we should be looking at those all the time, even if we can't find specific benefits. And again, we go through the final stage where we will again confirm the benefits at the closing of the project, and confirm whatever benefits. You can imagine for many projects, the actual benefits have not been achieved at the end of the project itself. The benefits may come at a later stage. So we're going to have to put a plan together for when those benefits are going to be watched post-project. And we hand that back to the project board and the executive, who then takes that and will go and work with that in the future, either through a program board at a higher level or the organization itself. Okay, so I'm going to go through the develop, maintain, and verify and confirm. Yes, develop, maintain, verify, and confirm the business case. Okay, so development. That's performed by the executive or nominee. The executive responsible for completing an approval. If from the program management, it might be refined. So although the executive is accountable for it, it will actually be the project manager, I would imagine, who will end up doing quite a lot of this in the early stages. Maintaining the business case. That's part of the responsibility of the project manager. So it does ensure the decision making is well informed. It's updated with actuals and current forecasts as we go along. Maintained by the project manager. Impacts assessments done on risks and issues to see how that will actually affect the business case as we go along. At each stage and at the final stage, this is done. Okay, we verify the business case. The executive ensures the project is still desirable, achievable, and viable. So the whole board should come and look at that as well. Verify the board at each directing a project activity. So they should go back and look at what has been updated within the business case and what information has been passed back. And we confirm the benefits. The benefits review plan confirmed the benefits are realized, and they can be realized, I suppose, reviewing during, or in most cases it's after the project. So it has a life of its own going on. So the content of the business case. The appendices details what's within the actual business case. It's an Appendix A on page 237 of the manual. So it has quite a lot of information in it. And again, you're going to tailor this to your own organization. But as a minimum, you're going to have information such as the executive summary on it, the reasons for the project, some business options, and we should have as a minimum in there on our business options, we're going to do something, do the minimum, and do nothing. All very helpful to deliver out decision making. We talk about benefits, how they are aligned to the organization, how we're going to measure them, who's going to own those benefits in the end, and disbenefits. In other words, that's a PRINCE2 word used there. In other words, negative consequences of the project. We can put information in there about the costs, what the project plan costs are, how are we going to fund this, timescales, the costs, whatever the benefits are, the start date, completion dates. If we've used some sort of investment appraisal, how that works, what technique, ROI or something like that, and any major risks. So the business case is not actually a very large document. 2, 3, 4 pages is often plenty to have it, and it will be tailored for your own particular organization, so you can change it. So that's the business case. The business case ties back very much so to a number of the principles. Some of these are quite clear, but the clearest of all, I suppose, is the business justification. We need to have continued business justification for our projects in PRINCE2, and the business case supports that. We need to continually look at the project and compare it against the business case to make sure that we are actually still delivering the benefits. We're going to do that at the end of each stage, but we're also going to do it whenever we make key decisions. So, for example, when risks, issues, or even change control, perhaps within change, we've decided to remove part of the project. Are we going to damage one of the benefits by removing that part of the project? We need to look back at the business case, see what that particular change request is going to have on our business case and the benefits, and report back. We obviously have to learn from experience, define roles and responsibilities. In this situation, the executive is very much so responsible for the business case, for getting it done, but the actual project manager does an awful lot of work during it. Managed by stages is there because at the end of each stage, we're going to look at it. We're going to look at the actual business case, make sure it still is viable. We're going to verify it. Managed by exceptions is definitely there because you can set tolerances for benefits. You can decide that if a benefit is going to be missed, if we're going to get a different timing or a different result, that we should go back and trigger an exception. So, for example, if a key change request, like I said earlier on, comes in, if that changes the benefit, you may have to go back up to the board and say, hang on a second, one of our exceptions has been triggered. Tailored to suit project environment, very much so. You need to tailor the business case so that the organization can respond to you and put in information there that you can measure as you go along. So that's it. The business case has a journey from starting up, where we create an outline business case, all the way through to verifying it at the initiation stage, maintaining it as we go along, and verifying and confirming the benefits as we run through our project. Okay, thank you very much. I hope you found that useful.